Hey guys, on the Cash Course where we teach you how to get money and get bays.
No, that's the other video. Wrong one.
Video. Okay guys,
Never
welcome
mind.
to Crash Course. In this video we will be teaching you about the Korean conflict. Yay. Starting off, we are going to discuss the cause of the Korean conflict. It all began when Kim Il-sung and Syngman Rhee had a love affair, but it didn't work out because, homosexuality wasn't a thing back then, and Asian parents are conservative. I mean, what is this script? The script is wrong. This is a fanfic you found online. Following the true script, the conflict started in 1950. The conflict was a civil war between the North and South Korea. This war is also known as the Forgotten War and the Unknown War.
The United States fought for South Korea, whereas China fought for the North and was assisted by the Soviet Union. The war began from the division of Korea at the end of World War II and the tensions with the Cold War. When Korea became divided, South Korea elected Syngman Rhee as president, and North Korea elected Kim Il-sung. In 1949, Congress gave South Korea a $150 million aid bill. Rhee was so interested in invading North Korea that the U.S. feared giving him too much.
So, on June 1950, the North Korean army attacked South Korea, crossing the 38th parallel. 75,000 North Korean soldiers crossed the 30th parallel. And later in July, the American troops stepped in to help South Korea. Truman and his advisors decided to send General MacArthur for military help.
Okay, so we are done with the cause of the war. Now we're going to take a little short break.
During the year of 1949, Syngman Rhee met Kim Il-sung in the pouring rain. As Kim Il-sung was walking down the street, he suddenly tripped on a rock and dropped all his books on communism on the ground. Coming to the rescue, Rhee charged over by his side to aid Sung. As they reached for Karl Marx's book, The Communist Manifesto, Rhee suddenly touched Sung's hand. Liking what he saw, Rhee grabbed Sung's wrist intimately and ran under a tree to take cover from the rain. Standing under the tree, Kim Il-sung's damp hair slowly drips across his face. Rhee then gently brushes it away and smiles at him lovingly. Kim Il-sung then giggles and pushes Rhee away by the chest. Blushing by the affectionate, powerful, charismatic shove, Rhee pulls Sung close and asks for his digits. Sung chuckles under his breath quietly and wrote his number on his hand. Rhee, mesmerized, held his hand against his chest and blows a gentle air kiss towards Sung's lips. Sung obviously loves it. 3 days later, while Sung is in class studying about communism, he gets distracted by a man who has a shiny bald head. His lips curved upwards without him knowing, and he is reminded of Rhee. After that fateful day where he met his bae, they have been contacting each other regularly and have even come to a conclusion that they have mutual feelings for each other. They are now in the phase where people nowadays say talking. Sung gets slapped in the head from daydreaming about Rhee and gets reprimanded from his teacher. But that does not put a dent in his emotions. Sung realizes that he's in love. 5 days later, Sung and Rhee are going steady and they want to introduce each other to the parents. But the parents don't agree, and Sung's father even has a joke to his son being gay. Sung and Rhee are heartbroken. Sung's mother does not even help his father. They decide to go off and elope in Vegas. But as they are running to the airport, Rhee gets run over by a car. And then he is in a coma. Sung is upset. He resorts to studying more about communism while his love is in the hospital. He then gets a call 4 months later while in class from nurse Mathew, saying that he is awake. Sung then runs out of his class and heads to the hospital. His chest is heaving and his mind is all over the place. In his smile, while smile wider than ever. When he arrives to Rhee's room, he welcomes him with a hug, but Rhee pushes him away, calling him a commie, and from here their love story is over.
Now we're going back to the course of the war. After General MacArthur withdrew troops from Busan, he began planning an ambitious attack on the port of Incheon to use this base as an attack to Seoul and cut supplies off from the Northern Army. On September 15, 1950, the Incheon landing took about 100 miles from the 38th parallel, capturing the port of Incheon. American led the UN forces and pushed inward into recapturing the capital city Seoul.
On October, American and South Korean forces advanced across the 38th parallel to the capital city of North Korea, led by General MacArthur. American forces soon advanced across the Yellow River, crossing the 38th parallel. On November 1st, 1950, during noon, 30,000 soldiers crossed the 38th parallel, pushing back American army and recapturing Seoul on January 1951. General MacArthur soon became obsessed with winning the war against China and threatened to use bombs to destroy Chinese bases and factories in Manchuria. After Seoul was recaptured from the communists on April 1951, Truman removed General MacArthur from his position after he publicly threatened to bomb China.
Beginning January 15, Ridgway led the UN in a slow advance northward, inflicting heavy casualties on the Chinese and North Koreans. The UN recaptured Seoul on March 15 and had patrols crossing the 30th parallel on March 31st. In the meantime, General MacArthur had been steadily pushing Washington to remove the restrictions on his forces. Not only did Truman decline for fear of winning the war, but he fired MacArthur, who had been publicly challenging him for months for insubordination, on April 11th. On July 27, 1953, an armistice agreement was signed by the UN, North Korea, and China. South Korea, outraged that a ceasefire had come without the unification of Korea, refused to sign but agreed to abide by its terms. Under the terms of the agreement, both sides withdrew 2 kilometers from the border, creating the demilitarized zone that is patrolled to this day.
In late July, the U.S. began bombing Pyongyang in an effort to speed up negotiations, although it had very little effort. On August 19, the communists began to complain that the UN had illegally entered the neutral Kaesong zone. Ridgway denied the accusation and accused the communists of liars. After the insult, communists stopped negotiations and the talks at Kaesong, leaving without any compromise were made. Again, by October, negotiations talks resumed, but by then it was moved to Pyongyang. Now it's time to look at our mystery document.
Okay, let's see what we have today. Anoop, read the document.
Okay, so at 4 a.m. on the morning of June 25th, Korean time, the Army of North Korea launched a completely unprovoked general invasion into the Republic of Korea. At 6 a.m., North Korean infantry began to cross the 30th parallel in the Onjin Peninsula area near the cities of Kaesong and Chuncheon, while ambitious landings were made on the eastern coast. Later in the morning, the communist radio at Pyongyang, setting the tone for the world's communist radio and press, charged that the Republic of Korea had initiated a surprise attack across the border into North Korea and that North Korea armed forces had been ordered to repulse the attackers. The broadcast also noted that the North Korean tanks, planes, and guns had scored successes south of the border. The invaders committed 4 divisions, plus an estimated 90 tanks to the fight, and when the skies over Seoul cleared, made full use of their complete superiority in the air.
Okay, this document was obviously by President Truman, summarizing what was going on in the Korean conflict.
That's correct.
Now we are coming back to the outcome of the Korean War. The outcome of the Korean War, after a long period of negotiations, there was finally a conclusion.
So in the end, the conflict finally ended on July 27, 1953, with South Korea refusing to sign the armistice. But this had little effect on the result. Technically, this damn war never really ended because South Korea never signed the armistice. The armistice established a 2.5-mile wide buffer zone between North and South Korea called the 30th parallel. A concession would show in a sign of weakness, so they kept the country divided as the North and the South. Even then, the North continued to aim for the takeover of the South with China's help.
North Korea needs to stay in their freaking lane. And Rhee needs to stop complaining why the North is attacking them constantly.
Although Rhee fought for a united Korea, and the two sides could not get along, and because Rhee kept complaining that the U.S. had come in to say that they will not give South Korea support and $1 billion.
So now we are going to discuss the home front of the war. So all Koreans were fully aware of the news of the war. Everyone participated in scrap drives and war bond campaigns. Posters of the war were everywhere, and newspapers carried information of the war.
The American home front during the war was quite different. Many people were not very concerned with the war, and as it was not a very popular war. The President of the U.S. called American involvement in the Korean hostilities a police action, mostly only on families who were directly involved in the war and cared about the Korean War.